What is going on, guys? Sonic and the Bean Show here. Today we are looking at the brand new Sonic Prime 5-inch action figures by Jakks. So these are of course based off of the show Sonic Prime on Netflix, and now we officially got action figures of these characters, which I'm pretty excited to get into. Now these figures are a lot different from the main line. They're a lot bigger and they have different packaging this time, but there is more articulation and it has more details compared to the other figures as well. So I'm very curious on how well these figures are compared to the video game line. But let's take a look at the packaging real quick before we take them out. So we're gonna start off as Sonic over here. Check out the packaging, man. So we got a picture of Sonic right there. We got the Sonic Prime logo along with Netflix. Right here it just says articulation, but it has in like different languages. And then we got the Sonic figure itself. We got like these crystal shards here to the side. Got Sonic, New York City, and then Jakks logo right there. And then to the side, you really just get a view of how the figure is. And then this side, same thing. And then along with the top view, if you can kind of see that with the lights being in the way. But the bottom is really just all the other information and then like the barcode, as you can see. But then coming to the back, that is where it gets interesting. So at the top, Sonic Prime up there. Let's actually zoom in here. But we get a picture of the figure. It has 13 points of articulation. We get a bio read right there, and then like some more different languages there. We get a picture of the Sonic figure and then the other figures to collect in the set. And then of course the other license to the side right here. And that's how the packaging looks right here. I like it, man. I actually like it. Now let's look at 9. They have it as Tails 9, but I'm just gonna say 9 in this video. That's usually how I preferred him as. But we got 9. Packaging is the same way. And then here's the back. Oh man, look at this. This is probably the figure I was most excited for in the wave. But 70 points of articulation, man. That is just wild. Again, a bio read right there. And then it actually shows a picture of how the figure looks from the back right here. So you can see 9 in like the mechanical arms and then like the tails right there. And then again, the other figures in the set. And then now here is Thorn, or Thorn Rose if you want to call her that. Now she's getting an accessory, which of course is her hammer, which makes sense. But man, the sculpt on this figure looks pretty great. I really like that head sculpt too. Oh, I should probably mention this too. So obviously based off what the character is from, like what universe they're from. You know, Tails 9 or 9 New York City, and then Thorn Boss Cage Maze. So they're gonna do this depending on what character, like what dimension they're from. But here's Thorn, 13 points of articulation. The red is different here. See, it's red, and then like the figure, it's not. So I've noticed that right there. But again, a bio read right there, and it just shows the hammer this time. And then the same thing we've already seen. And then now the last one we got here is Mr. Dr. Eggman. So look at that. I love how it says moving hair. New York City. And here's the back. 13 points of articulation. So it looks like Sonic, Thorn, and then Mr. Dr. Eggman are getting the same points of articulation. You get a bio read. Got a picture of Mr. Dr. Eggman. And then the other figures in the set. And that's pretty much the packaging right there, guys. So without further ado, let's go ahead and crack these figures out of the packaging and take a closer look. Okay, so the first figure we'll be looking at here is Sonic, and there's definitely some unique things going on here with these figures compared to the others. But like I mentioned earlier, it's mainly just the added articulation they got here, and then the details here on the figures, which actually look pretty great on most of them. So for Sonic, it's really on the head sculpt. You know, there's like that fur texture here on the head sculpt that you're seeing, you know, like around the quills. It's even like on the middle quill right here. You can see it in between them, which is really cool. But you're mainly just going to get it on the head. You're not going to get it anywhere like on the side, or like even like the back spikes, or even on the legs either. It's really just all on the head here. So yeah, they're only going to get that. But the gloves is actually pretty nice, you know. You got like the nice design. There's even some texture, you know, for the palm as well. You got like the wrist cuffs here. You know, like one hand is like open, the other one is like sort of like in a gripping sort of gesture right here. And then there is details here on the shoes, which looks really nice. So I do like that. That is actually really, really cool. You got like the red and then the white going on there. And then the bottom of the shoes, there's some details there as well. Of course, you got like your copyright and your license there. For the articulation, there's actually most of the articulation is really just on ball hinges. So there's one for like the neck really. So Sonic, he doesn't get a lot of movement compared to the others, but he can look up just about here, and then you can have him look down just about there. Not a whole lot. He doesn't get a whole lot of range compared to like 9 and Thorn that we're gonna go over, but you do get your full rotation to the head. You get a full rotation to the arms as well, and a hinge to the shoulder. You do get your single jointed elbows, but you get a swivel, and then a swivel to the wrist. For the hips, he can kick up just about here, but then back about there. Now this leg is really loose, as you can see. This leg is really, really loose. I've been noticing a lot of loose joints with these figures really fast actually. You do get your single jointed knees along with a swivel there, and you can swivel the entire leg too. And then the feet, they're really just on ball pegs, so you can move them around like that, but they do have a swivel. And that's pretty much the articulation for the Sonic figure. Again, it's really just the loose leg, and then not much movement with the ball hinge to the neck. But that is it for Sonic. So of course, let's do our size comparisons right here, which is I'm sure you guys want to know how tall this guy really is. Now I am having this problem where I can't really have Sonic stand on both of his feet flat on the ground, so I gotta have him like this, which looks pretty weird. But let's get some other Sonic figures. So here is the 4-inch Sonic figure, and then we're just gonna add in this classic Sonic figure. So this guy definitely does have some size to him. You can see how these guys are. Now let's add in the Mario movie figure. So again, both of these guys are 5 inches. That's what they did for these figures. They wanted to make the movie Mario figures, and then the Sonic Prime figure is 5 inches, so they're not going to scale with the main line. Not entirely too sure, but I guess they want to do different with these guys. But that's how they scale. This is actually unique right here. So here is the Mega Man fully charged figure. And I think what's really cool seeing these guys up next to each other is because, oops, I'm trying not to get this guy to fall down. But Jakks Specific was making these Mega Man figures based off the TV show. So it's cool that they're doing another video game character for Sonic based off of the new show, which is Sonic Prime. And they don't really scale too far off. Of course, the Sonic figure, it's like, you know, a half inch taller, but the head is a lot bigger here too. And I think it does look a little too big on the torso, especially how the spikes is right here. But at least the head's not like too big. I do like that, so it's not like the guy's having a hard time like falling back or anything. Let's actually use a bigger figure. So here's the 6-inch collector's edition Sonic figure. As you can see, this guy definitely does, of course, tower over the Prime Sonic figure. Alright, and the next figure we'll be looking at here is 9. And man, this figure looks incredible. I'm really happy to grab this guy. Now, I've always liked 9 in the show. I really like the character design. And this figure here, or seeing this guy in action figure form, this is really something else. I like this. So just like with Sonic, he got the fur details here on his head sculpt. You can see it all, like, you know, to the ears. And it even looks like you can have it. It looks like there's some even on the inside of the ears too. But you have it to the back of the head. And then on the tails too. And the tails look nice. But you don't really get that here on the arms, of course, or the legs. But man, this is nice. So you actually get his hoodie. You can see that he does have his hoodie right there, and then all the other nice paintwork here on the shirt. I do got some paint right here though. Then there's the pants and the shoes, the bottom of the shoes. Now for 9, look, I'm about to say Tails, but for 9, you are gonna have to have one of these to carry him as a tripod, because without that, since there's so much weight going on back here, it's gonna be a little back heavy for 9. So you are going to need to do that here for 9 to have him hold up. Now I'm trying to be really cautious with these, because while I was messing around with these, now be warned right here, alright? Be very cautious when messing with these, because this actually snapped on me. Now you can actually move these. You can move these, right? Because these are all like ball joints. This is a ball hinge. The ends are actually ball hinges, but then these are like ball pegs. So you can like move them up and down, all of these. But these things are very, very thin, so be careful, because they can snap if you're not too careful with these. So I'm trying my best not to move them as much, but this actually snapped on me, which is a shame, because usually when I review these figures I don't really run into like these types of QC issues, but that one did snap on me, so that is very unfortunate right there. Now let's go over the articulation. So for the head, same thing, ball hinge, so 9 can look back just about here. I should say look up about here, but he can look down pretty well, so that's actually really good. Of course you get your full rotation there to the head. The arms you can move, but of course this is going to hinder that. You do get a hinge to the shoulder, which goes out about here, and you do have your single jointed elbows and a swivel, and then a swivel to the wrist. Now for the hips not too much, you know, as you can see. For the legs, he can only kick up about here though, and then back just about there. So the legs aren't really the best. There is no knee joints, but you can get a swivel to the shoe right there, but they are also on ball pegs. And then most of the articulation is of course all of the mechanical arms, but also the tails. So the tails is really just on a ball joint too, so you can turn them around, you know, put them wherever you want. So you have that, and then you have these arms right here. Like I said, just nothing but, you know, your ball pegs that I can, you know, move each and every one of them. This one's actually really loose. You're gonna run into this on one of these. Some of them are going to be pretty stiff, some of them are going to be really, really loose, and I have one here. You can take these apart, because one of them fell out when I was trying to take this figure out of the packaging. But just remember that the ends right here are just ball hinges. So you just have a hinge here that goes up and down. So yeah, what's really cool, and again I'm a little worried to try to mess around with these, but I did have 9 in a position to where these were actually just holding the figure, and he wasn't, like, his feet wasn't on the ground. So I thought that was really cool, but I didn't want to mess around with these too much. But another thing that I do like, and I do want to show this off, is sometimes what 9 does is he'll have these, like, these mechanical tails right here, and he'll kind of fold them up, and you can kind of do that here a little bit if I can try to position them better. But you can see what I'm trying to do here. It doesn't look the best, because when he does this, these tails will be folded too, but since they're going to be out like this, this is probably the best you can do. But you can still try to make it done. It just doesn't look the best because these tails are going to be like that. But I like it. But, you know, as always, it is going to be too much weight to have 9 stand up. There are some things that I've noticed here of 9, and I would pull up an image, but I think where did I put the oh, here it is. I think using this picture is probably a good example right here. So let me, oops, that just fell. Let me actually pull it up. But I was saying how, like, there are some missing paint details here on the shoulder. You can see it right here. There's like some yellow to the shoulder, on his shoulder right here, but it's not here on this figure. And I've also noticed that all of it is all black, which I guess that is sort of accurate in the show. I'm pretty sure I do remember his clothing being a lot more darker than this, But I also like how the mechanical arms here are like, they're like a metallic paint, along with like anything else that's gray here, like the arms or like the hands, like his gloves right there. And I wish that was implemented here on this figure, but everything else is really just you know, it's just a gray matte finish here, a gray matte finish paint on all of this stuff. So that would have been cool if it was all metallic painted, but it is just going to be a dull gray this time. Let's do a comparison. So here he is with Sonic. Of course, Sonic's going to be taller than this guy. I'm always having trouble trying to get this Sonic figure to stand, because it's like he can only stand on one foot. He just can't really stand on both feet right here. But yeah, this is how these two look up against each other. And then here's 9 with the other Tails figure. So here's the 4-inch Tails figure, and then this is the 2.5-inch Tails. So yeah, this guy is definitely a whole lot larger. Alright guys, so this is what I was trying to do here. I was trying to show you off that it can be done, and as you can see, Tails is actually off the ground this time, and somehow I still made it done even without even using this. And I had him in this really cool pose where I had his arms folded to the side. You know, he was crossing his arms like this. Yeah, there you go. Had him doing something like this, and then he was looking down, and that just looks sick. But this is going to be hard, because now that his arms is up, there's going to be more weight. Oh wow, well it worked this time. The first time it fell forward, but yeah, look at that, man. That is just sick. Now you see why this is my favorite figure right here. There's just so many unique things I can do with this guy, and I think it's just also because he just looks so cool. Let me actually show these off again, because I feel like I didn't demonstrate these a little bit better. But yeah, with these, like I said, these just have a hinge. These things at the end, these pointy parts, they just have a hinge. These are on ball joints, along with this thing too. So you can move them up and down, but you can also rotate them. Same thing with this, you can rotate that. But some of them are really stiff, but they're also really loose. See, this one's really loose. So you are gonna get that, but of course you can move like the other ones. Alright, and next up is going to be Thorn Rose, and I want to say Thorn probably has the most sculpt work compared to the others, and it's really just the character design. And I believe I said this when the figure was first revealed, but I really like it, man. I've always liked this whole like warrior persona thing they got here for Thorn, and I think even in action figure form they did a really good job with that. So she does have like all the fur details all around, you know, her head, and then the hair here. Even on the back of the head, you can see there's some detail there. And man, there's so much going on. She has like these things wrapped around her head. I don't know, maybe there's an exact word for that. I don't know what these things are called, but they're really cool. She got like the war paint here. I like the mouth sculpt here. The eyes look great, the lashes. She even got the jewelry here on her ears. I'm not really sure what this is. Some symbol here. I don't know if that was like a tattoo or she just put that there, but that's there on the figure, which is accurate. She got like this pouch here to the side. You kind of have like a mini skirt going on. Really like these spiky cuffs she got here. And you can see that she is ready for battle, man. She got like some things strapped to her hands and her feet, her shin. Got these spikes here. Here's the bottom of the shoes. Look at that. And then of course her accessory is her hammer. Now the hammer, it does have weight to it, so keep that in mind. Wherever you have the hammer, there is going to be weight that's going to, you know, it's going to lean where it is. So if I have it here, it is going to take the figure out, forward, back, as you can see. But let's go over the articulation. So you do get a swivel to the head, full rotation there. You do get that hinge, that ball hinge, so she can look up really good. Look at that. How cool is that? And then she can look down, not much. She can only look down just about here, but you do get a rotation to the arm. It's a little stiff, but also because the way how her shoulder is, where like this is sculpted around the shoulder, it's a little hard to try to move that. So you kind of get just about there. And then I showed off earlier, she does have a hinge to the shoulder. She does have her single jointed elbows. along with a swivel and a swivel to the wrist. Coming to the hips, she can't really kick forward or back, and it's because of the sculpt here on the skirt. So you can't really get any kicking forward or back for the legs, unfortunately. As you can see, this is as much as I'm getting. I can't even really have her kick out to the side either. Yeah, I can't really seem to get her to kick out to the side. This is probably as much as I'm getting. She does have her single jointed knees. You get a swivel as well. And then for the feet, they are just on a swivel and then just small ball peg. But you don't really get a lot of movement out of that peg anyway. Now let's do a quick comparison. Of course, we're going to compare her to the other Amy figure in the main line. So here she is with that. So you got this going on. I do wonder if this can work. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it does, but it doesn't really feel into the hand that much. Let me try this Amy with this hammer. See if that'll work. It does seem like it only just wants to go up like just here. I don't know if I can. Oh yeah, I guess it could. You just have to like, yep, there you go. So yeah, there you go. But of course it is going to be top heavy for the figure. But she can hold it. Oh, well, she can hold it and stand. So that's pretty cool. Alright, so that works right there. Now let's do another comparison. Here she is with Sonic. Let me just grab this Sonic figure right here. And it looks like they're about the same height actually. It may seem like maybe Sonic's a little bit taller just because of the top spike right here, but they do seem about the same height because their nose is like connecting here. So yeah, I'm gonna say they're about the same height. Alright, and now we finally move on to Mr. Dr. Eggman. Now this is another figure I was excited for in this wave, and it's because I thought it looked really good when I first seen it, but now seeing it here in person in action figure form, this is a really good looking Mr. Dr. Eggman figure. I think they captured it really perfectly here. So let me actually just show this feature off really fast. So in the packaging it said that if you press like this star right here on his torso, it actually like puts his hair up right here. I think if you press even harder, it'll probably go up a little higher. But as you can see, that's actually what it does here, which is funny because, you know, I think his hair is like fake here in the show. So yeah, you can kind of move that up and then just turn it wherever you want. So that's kind of funny. But man, look at this guy. This is insane. I mean, I've always liked the you know, the design here of like his attire of his suit right here, and then like his boots. But it kind of makes me want them, makes me want to see them like pull this off for like the regular Eggman figure. But man, this looks great. So he does have some details here on the gloves. It's a little hard to see because they're like, you know, white, but he does have some details there for his gloves. He's kind of like in this pointing sort of gesture. And then this one's more of like a relaxed hand. You can see that. And you got like this nice lightning design to the side. And here's the boots, which I think look really cool. They got like these stars here to the side. And then he got like his knee pads there. Let me actually zoom in. That's better. Here's the bottom of the shoes. Look at that. Got the stars at the bottom of the feet. I like the designs, man. Really, really cool. And then of course you got like the zipper to the front of the torso. And the head sculpt is amazing. I think my only gripe here on the figure is I do wish like the color for the hair was like maybe a bit more darker. It's like a light brown rather than like just a darker brown, because I'm pretty sure he has the same like hair color as the regular Eggman. But I don't know, maybe I could be wrong. Maybe his hair is a little bit lighter than this. But I thought for sure it was the same color. But man, I am loving this figure. This is so cool. Alright, so for the articulation, so like I mentioned, you can move the hair. So you can move the hair wherever you want, to the front, to the side, to the back. Which looks kind of funny like that. But yeah, you can move the hair. You can also move the head. But it seems like it only wants to go left and right though. I don't think you're able to turn it all the way around. But you can move the head. You get a full rotation to the arms right here. If I can try to do a full rotation there. But yeah, you can get that done. Hinge to the shoulder. It seems like it only goes horizontal. It does just kind of hinder that for it to go even higher. But you do get your single jointed elbows. along with a swivel and a swivel to the wrist. For the hips, he doesn't really kick up or back that well, unless maybe mine is just being weird, or maybe I just gotta fix that hinge. There you go. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta fix that ball hinge, because sometimes when you move the legs too much, it wants to be like on the wrong side. But this is as much as he can get to kick forward and then to kick back. You can hear like that weird squeaking. It's kind of weird. Now what's interesting is that he does have double jointed knees, which does actually just kick back about here though, which is nice. So look at that. So that's really cool. And then you can like swivel the leg. And then for the feet, you get a rotation. And then it does seem like it's really, looks like it's just another ball hinge here. So they just kind of kick back about there, and like forward about here though. That's pretty much that. So yeah, that's the articulation from Mr. Dr. Eggman. Let's do some comparisons right here. So before I show off the rest of the figures in the Prime line, I do want to show off the other Eggman figures. So here we have the modern and classic, or Robotnik is what you want to call them. So here's how they look next to Mr. Dr. Eggman. So that's actually really cool. And then here is the 4-inch Sonic figure. Oh man, I like this comparison. Look at that. And then let's add in Metal Sonic right here. And finally, here's the entire wave up next to each other. So of course, Mr. Dr. Eggman is the tallest here, and then 9 is the shortest. But man, you can still tell that Thorn, Rose, and Sonic are still a bit too tall, because look how they are compared to Mr. Dr. Eggman. They still seem out of scale here. But this is how they all look up next to each other. I actually did something cool right here with 9. So when I was mentioning about 9, how he was back heavy because of the arms around him, well, if you put them all forward, they actually hold the figure up pretty well, and it does look pretty cool like this. So you can actually get away with doing something like this. Again, man, this figure is just amazing. This is like definitely my favorite. I love this 9 figure. Alright guys, that is going to wrap up this review on the Jakks specific Sonic Prime 5-inch action figures. So final thoughts on the entire wave. I'd say it's pretty solid in my book. For 15 bucks on these isn't too bad. Obviously they're a lot larger in scale, and they're going to have more paint details and sculpt work on them, which is why it's going to be higher in price. But the articulation and the sculpt on these figures is pretty impressive, especially on Thorn Rose. I think she looks fantastic. Now, they're not perfect by all means. I wouldn't blame you on skipping on these or just grabbing a figure or two from this wave. There's definitely some QC issues here and there. They're not going to scale with the other figures, and some of them don't come with accessories either. That's probably the biggest downside here on this line. But personally, I enjoyed them. I'd say 9 Thorn and Mr. Dr. Eggman is my favorite here. Not really feeling the Sonic figure. I think the head is too big, eyes look weird, torso doesn't match the arms, joints too loose. It's just things like that, which is why I'm a bit mixed on it. But that is going to do it for this review. So if you guys want to pick these up, they are hitting Target stores right now. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the review. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments down below, and I will definitely catch you guys in the next video. Take care, my friends.